Okay, Hare Krishna. So, devotees, thank you very much for tuning in today. This is the one of the smallest chapters in the entire Srimad Bhagavatam, consisting of only 9 verses. Usually, when the chapter is, small, then I would do another one. But because the complexity of these chapters. So I am also going very slowly. So I'm not rushing it. Um, I'm giving time for everyone to digest slowly to discuss this. Okay, so but appreciate that you're coming. The main thing is the consistency. Even if you do not fully understand, sometimes you have to move forward, attend on a regular basis. That is very important. Sama Mataji, thank you for tuning in. You have joined the Bhagavatam group when we are discussing the complex subject matter. But don't worry, keep attending it. This is the most important.
I will, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
I know
So
that
we
is
are
my
we are we are discussing the structure of the universe. So it is a little bit complex matter. But just keep tuning in. You'll be fine. Yeah. Okay. So Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurvunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaham. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so if you are in a position to read, please raise your hand. So chapter 23. Okay, so we'll go with Padma Mataji first, and then after that to Shama Shriji Mataji. Padma Mataji, so I'll share the screen, and then Bhuvaneshwari Mataji, that's okay. Let me just share the screen. So if you can kindly read Padma Mataji, first 3 verses, please.
Sure, Prabhuji.
Let me just bring up the screen, yeah.
Hare Krishna, text 1. Sukadeva Goswami continued, My dear king, that many yojanas, that many miles above the planets.
1,300,000 yojanas.
And
10,400,000 miles, yeah.
Miles above the planets of the 7 sages in the place that learned scholars describe as the abode of Lord Vishnu. There, the son of Maharaja Uttanapada, the great devotee Maharaja Dhruva, still resides as the life source of all the living entities who live until the end of the creation. Agni, Indra, Prajapati, Kashyapa, and Dharma all assemble there to offer him honor and respectful obeisances. They circumambulate him with their right sides towards him. I have already described the glorious activities of Maharaja Dhruva in the fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Text 2. Established by the supreme will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the pole star, which is the planet of Maharaja Dhruva, constantly shines as a central pivot for all the stars and planets. The unsleeping, invisible, most powerful time factor causes these luminaries to revolve around the pole star without cessation. Text 3. When bulls are yoked together and tied to a central post to thresh rice, they tread around that pivot without deviating from their proper positions, one bull being closest to the post, another in the middle, and a third on the outside. Similarly, all the planets and all the hundreds and thousands of stars revolve around the pole star, the planets of Maharaja Dhruva, in their respective orbits, some higher, some lower. Fastened by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to the machine of material nature, according to the results of their fruitive acts, they are driven around the pole star by the wind and will continue to be so until the end of creation. These planets float in the air within the vast sky, just as clouds with hundreds of tons of water float in the air, or as the great Sienna eagles, due to the result of past activities, fly high in the sky and have no chance of falling to the ground. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Mataji. Okay, so let me bring up my screen. So yeah, we have hopefully reasonable time today to go through the matter slowly. So if you remember, in the last chapter, we discussed this one, the orbits of the planets. We discussed this one. If you, I don't know if you remember or not. Let me just go back. Yeah, the orbits of the various planets we discussed. And in that, we have explained the location of various stars and planets. We mentioned, all these. There is sun, and above the sunrise there is moon, and then above the moon, we have these constellation and the zodiac belt, and the 12 zodiac signs are also located here. And this one, you see my cursor, that is called Kala Chakra, uh, wheel of time. It rotates, and everything rotates. But this particular one, the constellation, um, uh, consisting of 12 zodiac signs, is called the wheel of time. Yeah. So then you have various other planets that are mentioned here: Buddha, Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, like that. So, and on the top, we have Saturn, Shani, and above Saturn, we have Saptarushi Mandal, or the planets of seven sages. We discussed up until there. All these, you see, they have their own orbits. Uh, they rotate. Uh, they rotate in a clockwise fashion. Um, so they are rotating, and uh, they are connected to Dhruva pole stop that we will discuss now. So above Saptarushi Mandal, it says the above the seven stages we have Dhruva Loka. So we studied about Dhruva, and it is mentioned 1.3 million yojanas. Okay, 1.3 million yojanas above Saptarushi Mandal, we have the planet of Dhruva. And so this particular planet was awarded to Dhruva Maharaj. We know the story. We studied this in the fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. When his stepmother, Suruchi, chastised him, and chastised him for sitting in the lap of his father. He was only 5 years old that time. And she said, you do not have, if you want to sit on the lap of your father on the throne, then, you would have to take birth from my womb, not from your mother. That is my stepsister. So indirectly, she said that, you have to give up body, and then in the next life take birth in my womb, then you are eligible to sit on the throne. So Dhruva, being a Kshatriya, belong to Kshatriya family, you know. So is what is the word I'm looking like? Is quite. They take things quite challenging way. Then he approached his mother Suniti, and Suniti's amazing mother. Every mother should follow in the footsteps of Suniti. Um, she said, don't, don't worry about your stepmother, uh, and don't think of any ill, um, ill fortune happening to your stepmother, although she chastised you. Supreme Lord is the mother of all the mothers. You go and worship. And Maharaj Dhruva, we know he went to the forest. Anybody remembers the name of the forest where he meditated?
It's Madhuvan, Prabhuji.
Madhuvan, yes, in Vrindavan, we have
Yeah.
12 forests. In Madhuvan, he went, and of course, Narada Muni advised him, and given a method to worship the Supreme Lord. So in the Madhuvan, he worshipped. So there were two things in his mind when he went there. Anybody tells what was the two reasons? There were two main things in his mind. With that he worshipped. Yes.
He wanted the planet bigger, better than his father and his grandfather.
Grandfather planet, or that is one, bigger than the great grandfather is Swayambhu Manu, great grandfather is Brahma. So he wanted to have a kingdom which is actually greater than Brahma. Great. And second one, he had revengeful attitude towards his stepmother. So these were the two things. So you can say that he is materially motivated. Pure devotees, they don't have any material desires like this, right? You agree? And he had somewhat definitely materially motivated, but after 6 months of sincere devotion to the Lord appeared in front of him, and so there was a beautiful description in the fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Then he said to Dhruva Maharaj that I'm awarding my own planet. Before Dhruva, it's actually Vishnupadi. It's the abode of the Lord Vishnu, which is considered to be greater than Brahma's kingdom. So he awarded his own kingdom to Dhruva Maharaj. Uh, and yeah, but after devotion, he didn't have that revengeful attitude towards his stepmother. That disappeared. And he was also regretful for having the material desires. And so initially we may have some material motivation, but when we worship the Lord, what happens is they disappear. Krishna cleanses our heart. In the beginning we can't see, we don't know our goal. Even if we know our goal, because we study Bhagavatam, we hear, we know, we read Bhagavad Gita, even though now devotion is the highest, bhakti is the highest, but we may not realize it. We may not fully believe it. Still, we may have some material motivations. But when we, keep on worshipping like Dhruva Maharaj, that will disappear. So he was very regretful for having those material motivations. Anyway, that's about Dhruva Maharaj. He's the son of Uttanapad. So he lives there in that pole star. So it is said, what is mentioned? Yes. So constantly this planet constantly shines, and it acts as a central pivot, a fixed point for all the stars and planets. So that means all the luminaries, all the planets and stars, they are connected to this Dhruva pole star. And they circumambulates all the luminaries. They revolve around the pole stars without cessation, without stopping. Let me show a picture of this. Something like this. This is another diagram you can see here. This is the Bhumandala, various parts of Bhumandala, and various luminaries are given here. And here, the bright star on the top is pole star, Dhruva Maharaj's planet, and they're all connected. How they are connected? With wind. Wind acts as a rope, and they rotate, they circumambulate this Dhruva planet. Some are in the, some are here, some are there, some are here, but whatever their height may be, but they rotate around the Dhruva pole star. So this is respect, because earlier Lord Vishnu residing there, they were all rotating clockwise and circumambulating clockwise. That is the way they worship. Okay, so they never stop until the end of the creation. Then so next it is mentioned, how do they rotate in their respective orbits? This example is given. I'll show you that. So let me, is there it? So I'm not sure if some of you are from villages or anywhere. In the village, we used to have this kind of oil pressing machine. So this is the example it is given in the, yeah. So did I go to the third one? Let me just bring back. Yeah. So before that, let me talk a little bit more about this. In the second verse, can you see the text here? Second text. Can you see my screen, or are you seeing the picture?
It's the picture, Prabhuji.
Picture.
Yeah. So there's a little problem there. Yeah. So you may ask, how are they rotating in their own orbits? Huh? So here we understand it is the central pivot for all stars. So it is the basis. So all are connected to the pole star. That's what we are understanding. And all these luminaries, they revolve. And Prabhupada gives here some wonderful purport here. So how are they? Yeah. Okay. So this purport, it is distinctly stated herein that all the luminaries, the planets, and the stars revolve by the influence of the supreme time factor. The time factor is another feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everyone is under the influence of the time factor, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead is so kind and loves his devotee Maharaj Dhruva so much that he has placed all the luminaries under the control of Dhruva's planet and has arranged for the time factor to work under him with his cooperation. Everything is actually done according to the will and direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But to make his devotee Dhruva the most important individual within this universe, the Lord has placed the activities of the time factor under his control. Prabhupada is saying, yes, this time factor is kept under the control of Dhruva Maharaj. So indicating that Krishna loves his devotees very much. He has given a very important role. So before Dhruva, Lord Krishna in the form of Kshirodaksha Vishnu was doing it. So let me go back now and show this picture, this one. Yeah. So this is the example that is given. And just as the bulls yoked together and tied to the central post to thrush the rice, tread around that pivot without deviating from their proper position. They are fixed. They can't go anywhere, actually. These bulls, they're fixed to this pole like this. They're fixed. They have to rotate. They can only have one path. Similarly, all these stars and luminaries, planets, so how they are fixed to the central pivot planet Dhruva, and they have their own orbits. So and yeah, so Prabhupada writes here in the purport some of the important points that how are they floating? Modern scientists say that because of the gravity, Mars and Jupiter's are not clustered together because of the law of the gravity or any similar idea of the modern scientists. These planets and stars are all servants of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda or Krishna. And according to his order, they sit in their chariots and travel in their respective orbit. Now, you remember a few days ago, we were discussing about sun, how sun rotates. Sun has a chariot, and he has a charioteer, Arunadev, and it rotates in its orbit. Every planet actually has a chariot. Every planet, in every planet, there is a presiding deity. And that presiding deity also sits in the chariot, and they travel in their respective orbits. So revolving around Dhruvaloka. That is the point. So let me check another one also. Yeah, this one we read. The question of how the planets and stars are floating is also answered in this verse. It is not because of the laws of gravity. Rather, the planets and stars are enabled to float by manipulation of the air. It is due to such manipulations that big heavy clouds float and big eagles fly in the sky. Modern airplanes like the 747 jet aircraft work in a similar way by controlling the air. They float high in the sky, resisting the tendency to fall to earth. Such adjustments of the air are all made possible by the cooperation of the principles of Purusha, male, and Prakriti, female, by the cooperation of the material nature, which is considered to be the Prakriti, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is considered a Purusha. All the affairs are, the universe are taking place. So here it is mentioned, it is not by the law of gravity they work. They are simply floating. Here it is said, these planets, they float in the air within the vast sky, just like clouds are floating. It's not because of the gravity. So that is the point that's been mentioned here. Okay, I hope everything's clear. And we'll move on to the next section. This next section 4 till 7. It is considered to be it is the description of the body of Shishumara. So if you see the arrangement of these luminaries in the sky from Dhruva, pole star, so from pole star till the sun and moon, etc. They all put together takes a form of Shishumara, an animal named Shishumara. Prabhupada calls it as dolphin. It's a form, the arrangement of various stars and luminaries, planets in the sky takes a shape, and that shape resembles animal named Shishumara. Prabhupada calls it dolphin. And this is upside down. The tail is up, tail is Dhruvaloka, and the head is downwards. So the description of this Shishumara planet, Shishumara, Shishumara planetary system is given in the next few verses. Basically, we just read, ton of names saying that this is the head, this is the body, this is the waist, this is the left side of the dolphin, this is the right side, this is the mouth, like that. So it's arrangement of various planetary system. But let's read. So that would be, who would like to read next? Bhuvaneshwari Mataji, okay?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Let me share the screen. Thank you. So let me go back. So go back. Yes. So 4 till 7, please.
Text 4. This great machine, consisting of the stars and planets, resembles the form of a Sishumar, a dolphin in the water. It is sometimes considered an incarnation of Krishna, Vasudev. Great yogis meditate upon Vasudev in this form because it is actually visible. Text 5. This form of the Sishumar has its head downward and its body coiled. On the end of its tail is the planet of Dhruv. On the body of its tail are the planets of the demigods, Prajapati, Agni, Indra, and Dharma. And at the base of its tail are the planets of the demigods, Data and Vidata. Where the hips might be on the Sishumar are the 7 saintly sages like Vashist and Angira. The coiled body of the Sishumar chakra turns towards its right side, on which the 14 constellations from Abhijit to Punarvasu are located. On its left side are the 14 stars from Pushya to Uttarasad, Sadha. Thus, its body is balanced because its sides are occupied by an equal number of stars. On the back of the Sisumar is the group of stars known as Achvidi, and on its abdomen is the Ganges that flows in the sky, the Milky Way. Text 6. On the right and left sides of where the loins might be, on the Sishuma chakra, are the stars named Punarvasu and Pushya. Ardra and Ashlesha are on its right and left feet. Abhijit and Uttarasada are on its right and left nostrils. Shravana and Purvasada are at its right and left eyes. And Dhanistha and Mula are on its right and left ears. The 8 stars from Magha to Anuradha, which mark the southern course, are on the ribs of the left of its body, and the 8 stars from Mrugasirsa to Purva Bhadra, which mark the northern course, are on the ribs on the right side. Satabisha and Jyestha are on the right and left shoulders. Text 7. On the upper chin of Sishumar is Agasti. On its lower chin, Yamraj. On its mouth, Mars. On its genitals, Saturn. On the back of its neck, Jupiter. On its chest, the Sun. And within the core of its heart, Narayan. Within its mind is the moon, on its navel, Venus, and on its breast, the Ashwani Kumars. Within its life air, which is known as Pranapana, is Mercury. On its neck is Rahu. All over its body are comets, and in its pores are the numerous stars. Text 8. My dear king, the body
Thank
of
you,
the...
Mataji.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry,
Thank-
Prabhuji. Sorry.
No worries, no worries. Yeah, that's good. So here, I'll show a couple of pictures for you to understand. But before we go there, it is mentioned this great machine consisting of stars and planets resembles, as I said, Shishumara dolphin in the water, and it is considered to be the incarnation of Vasudeva. The yogis meditate on this form because it is visible clearly. It is kind of Virat Roop, universal form. Some yogis, they worship. It is a bona fide form. It is not true Krishna directly, but this form is visible in the sky. And great yogis meditate. Shishumara. So let me show a couple of pictures. So if you see this one here, I've shown this picture earlier, but actually here you can see the blue dolphin-like, image that is there upside down. So basically arrangement of various luminaries and planets. And yogis, for us from Bharata Bhumi, it appears like this way. The yogis, they meditate. When they meditate, just meditate on that form. They bring that form into their mind. But we can meditate on the form of Lord Krishna directly. So, it is, this is how basically, on the tail, we have Dhruvaloka, and, body of the tail, you have Prajapati, Agni, Indra, Dharma, like that. You can see various left side 14 stars, and the right side you have another 14 stars. Rahu and Yamaraj, and Sun is here. So this is how all the arrangements, the arrangement of these luminaries and planets, they take the form of this dolphin, which is upside down, and which is a bona fide form to worship. And some yogis, they meditate on this particular form, and it is recommended. It is a bona fide form that, if one wants to meditate upon. That is mentioned. And then next section, we would like to read 8 till 9, only 2 verses.
I will read, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Text 8. My dear king, the body of the Shishumara, as just described, should be considered the external form of Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Morning, noon, and evening, one should silently observe this form of the Lord as the Shishumara Chakra and worship him with this mantra. O Lord, who have assumed the form of time, O resting place of all the planets moving in different orbits, O Master of all demigods, O Supreme Person, I offer my respect and respectful obeisances unto you and meditate upon you. Text 9. The body of the Supreme Lord Vishnu, which forms the Shishumara Chakra, is the resting place of all the demigods and all the stars and planets. One who chants this mantra to worship that Supreme Person 3 times a day, morning, noon, and evening, will surely be freed from all sinful reactions. If one
We can't hear you, Mataji. Haribol,
just
can you
moved,
hear?
as I'm on my phone, I think that's why it's creating problem. I'm okay now. To worship the Supreme Person 3 times a day, morning, noon, and evening, will surely be freed from all sinful reactions. If one simply offers his obeisances to this form or remembers this form 3 times a day, all his recent sinful activities will be destroyed. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat
Thank
pranam.
you very much. So let's, that is self-explanatory. So some yogis, they, 3 sandhyas are there: morning, afternoon, and evening. We usually chant Gayatri, and that time we remember Guru, Guru as well, Guru, Krishna, Sun God, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, 3 times daily when we chant our Gayatri mantra. So it is recommended that yogis also can do this. So can you read the purport, this purport as well?
Yes, Prabhuji, I can read it. Summarizing the entire description of the planetary systems of the universe, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that one who is able to meditate upon this arrangement of the Virat Rupa or the Vishwarupa, the external body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and worship him 3 times a day by meditation, will always be free from all sinful reactions. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur estimates that Dhruloka, the pole star, is 38,000 yojanas above the sun.
No.
3 million.
3,800,000
yojana. Yes,
yojanas above the sun.
Above the sun, yeah. Above Dhruloka by 10 million yojanas is Maharloka. Above Maharloka is 20 million yojana is Janaloka. And above Janaloka by 80 million yojanas is Tapaloka. And above Tapaloka is by 120 million yojanas is Satyaloka. Thus the distance from the sun to Satyaloka is 233,800,000 yojanas, or 1,870,400,000 miles. It's very difficult, Prabhuji.
Don't worry about this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Vaikuntha planets begin 26.2 million yojanas
26.2 million yojanas.
above Satyaloka.
Yeah.
Thus, the Vishnu Purana describes that the covering of the universe is 260 million yojanas away from the sun. The distance from the sun to the earth is 100,000 yojanas or 1 million yojana. And below the earth by 70,000 yojanas are the 7 lower planetary systems called Atal, Vital, Sutal, Talatal, Mahatal, and Rasatal and Patal. Below these lower planets, by 30,000 yojanas, Sheshnag is lying on the Garbhodaka ocean. And that ocean is 249.8 million yojanas deep. Thus, the total diameter of the universe is approximately 500 million yojanas or 4
4
billion
billion
miles.
miles. 4 billion miles.
Thus,
Thank you, Mataji. Sorry,
thank you,
apologies for
Prabhuji.
giving you
No,
difficult
Prabhuji.
difficult
Can't watch
task.
this one. You are brilliant, Prabhuji. That's what it is. Thank
No,
you. Hare
thank
Krishna, Prabhuji. Dhanvat Pranam.
Krishna. So, right. What else? Let me bring up that picture. Yeah. So you can see this is the Garbhodaka ocean here, and above the Garbhodaka ocean, actually Shesha is holding. I'll show that picture. Shesha is holding the Bhumandala. This is the Bhumandala. Bhumandala consists of 7 um, islands and 7 oceans. In the center, we have Jambudvipa. In the center of that Jambudvipa, we have Sumeru Mountain. Then you have the sun, moon, and various planetary system. And here, this one is the Saptarishi Mandal. 7 sages rotate here, and this is the planet Dhruva here. And above planet Dhruva, we have 4 planetary system: Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapoloka, Satyaloka. Prabhupada was giving the heights, the how far they are away from the sun, or that is the description is given here. And let me show one more picture. This one here, you can see. Actually, these lower planetary system we will study in the next chapter, but they are actually incorporated within the Bhumandala. They are not separate. They are they're included within the Bhumandala. So these 7 planets are there. So Bhumandala consists as a one unit. And this Bhumandala is held by expansion of Anantashesha, and Anantashesha is residing on the ocean. But the Madhva scholars say that there is Kurma, incarnation of Kurma is there on the water, and above Kurma you have Shesha expansion that is mentioned. Okay, so that is a hopefully simple chapter. Yeah, so that's where it ends. And next we will study 24th, next Thursday, which is entitled the Subterranean Heavenly Planets. So yes, Purna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, just one question, Prabhuji. I think the Uttarashadha, Purvashadha, and all those mentioned, aren't they constellations, nakshatras?
Yes, they are.
They are not stars, no, Prabhuji?
Right. I think, but let me show that picture. We will come to know. These 28 stars, they form constellation, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
That's my understanding. Yes. So where is it? The picture here. So you see, these are the constellations, and then you have these nakshatras also. These are the nakshatras, Purvashada. I can't, we can't Uttarashada like that. So that is my understanding. The constellation, and then if I think these stars are also form the constellation. Maybe I can go and look into it. But my understanding is that you have these 12 zodiac signs, and they rotate, and they are Kala Chakra. And the stars are also 27 stars are also rotate along with this Kala Chakra. That is my understanding. But if you know more than that, you can explain.
Yeah, Prabhuji. I think no, I don't know more than that, Prabhuji. It's just that I am very, very familiar with the names. Yeah, but yeah, I think it makes sense. Yes, Prabhuji. Understood.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you have these zodiac signs, Makara, Meena, like,
Yes, yes,
Capricorn,
yes.
they are the zodiac signs.
Yes,
And
yes,
then
Prabhuji.
you have stars, nakshatras.
Yes, yes. Got it, Prabhuji. Yeah, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Manjula Mataji.
Prabhu, just one question. We always read yogis meditate on Paramatma. So who are these yogis who are meditating on Shishumara as well? Where do these fit in, please?
I don't know. Maybe there may be several yogis. So I think even they are meditating on the form of Paramatma. Some of them may meditate on this form. So I don't know exactly which category, but some yogis it is mentioned there. So yeah, that much I can say.
Thank you.
Some worship mainly the Jnana yogis, those who are focusing on the Virat Rupa, the universal form of the Lord. If they are attached to the universal form of the Lord, they see the universe, the various arrangements within the universe. They see the form of the Lord, that is the universal form. Then that kind of yogis, probably they imagine this form, they meditate on this. So I don't know exactly what do you call them. Yeah, that much I can say. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Grandhara
Jai.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai,
Jai.
Nithai Gaura Premanandi, Hari
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 Bol.
Bol.
Please continue to attend, don't skip it. And once we pass this, then yeah, it's easy. So please continue to attend.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Prabhuji.